to my humble homestead and gardenside chat. So today I am continuing with the Every Bit Counts challenge, and I have a bunch of chicken. This is raw chicken, and I am going to pressure can it. So the reason why I'm pressure canning chicken is because it adds simple cooking into my life. It makes it shelf stable. If there was ever a power outage and I had a whole bunch of meat, things in my freezer, I would need to figure out how I'm going to keep that safe. So this is some organic chicken thighs and breasts that were on sale. So I picked up a bunch of them, and I have my quart-sized jars processing in my dishwasher. They should be done shortly, but that way I know they're super clean. They'll be nice and hot. And while they're finishing up there, I'm going to just cut these up into small pieces. I'm using a cookie sheet with, I have a separate cutting board that I use for meats. So I'm using that on, so this way the juices can be contained. And then, you know, the biggest thing is you want to have super clean hands. I wash my hands, and I even use a little bit of vinegar on them. But I'm going to use gloves. I like to use gloves personally when I chop raw meat. That's just my preference. You can do whatever you want. Before I put those gloves on, I just wanted to comment really quick. I had a couple people ask me what I was drinking one day. And generally I'm usually drinking my big water. This is my big water that keeps it cold. I usually drink that a lot of times in my orange Yeti. I usually have hot or iced coffee. But I was drinking this in my cup here. And somebody was saying, what are you drinking in that pink cup? Sometimes when I like have a little nausea from like if I have headaches or things like that, I don't really want coffee, which is kind of funny for me because I really like coffee. And if I need a pick-me-up, I used to drink energy drinks, like the Monster drinks and stuff. And I started like thinking those probably aren't that great for me. I really like them, especially like the grape ones. My kids drink them, they like them. So when I was on, I took my daughter-in-law on a cruise last winter before she had the second baby, and she got me hooked on these Celsius drinks, these Celsius energy drinks. That's what they had on the cruise, and they are a little bit healthier. Now they're kind of expensive, so I don't buy them all the time, but they're delicious. And so what I found that you can get them in I'm not sponsored. I'm not even like advocate these. I'm just telling you because someone asked. I found them in the powdered. So they're like these little powder things. And I found that I can actually make them last a lot longer because I don't even need them really sweet. So I like fill it up with water, and then I drink a little bit down, and then I fill it back up and I put ice in it. And this lasts me quite a long time. This happens to be my flavor of choice lately. It's Kiwi Guava line. It's delicious. And so I just buy a box of these. It comes in a box of 14. If you buy just like a 4-pack, the little 4-pack, it's like $7. This is like a box of 14 for like $9. So I just keep this for when I'm feeling like sluggish or I need to pick me up and I just don't feel like coffee. So I mean, I know, you know, or when I'm tired and I just don't want to make a pot of tea or things like that, that's just kind of what I have. So that's what I was drinking. It doesn't really, you know, what it uses like beet juice root and ginger root, green tea extract, you know, things like that. So it's not like it's probably not the best choice. If you can make your own drinks with your herbs and your teas and things like that, that is always the number one choice. You know, I really like my rose hip and, oh my gosh, hibiscus tea. That's a great one for when but this is kind of my little go-to if I'm really need to pick me up. That's what I drink. So anyway, that was a little side note. We're going to get on to the chicken. So I'm going to cut this chicken in just little small pieces, And then I'm gonna just put it in a bowl, and when my jars are done, I'm gonna do pint-sized jars. I think that seems to be perfect. On, you know, I see a lot of people doing the pint-sized jar. If I had a huge family and I was gonna make, you know, big family size meals, I might do some quarts. But honestly, if I really needed extra chicken or I was gonna have a whole bunch of people over, I can open two pint-sized jars. So I'm just gonna take my chicken here. It's just a little bit frozen, but mostly I thawed it out in the fridge over a couple days. And I'm just gonna slice it up here and put it in a bowl while I'm waiting for if my jars were all hot and clean, I would just throw them in my jars. I'm just gonna chop these up into, I don't know, like, you know, this size. And then when my jars are done, I'm gonna pack them in there. And I am gonna add about a half a teaspoon of salt in them. Now that is optional. If you don't want to add salt into yours, if you're on a diet where you really need to, you know, lower your salt, you can add some seasoning or spices or herbs, just as long as they don't have any like gluten in them, anything that would thicken. You really don't want those in there, but you could add some other seasonings in there instead of salt, or you don't have to add any seasoning at all. It's not really necessary, because I'm gonna go ahead and pressure can these. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'll get these all cut up. I'll get these cut up, and when they're cut up, I'll get my jars out, and then I will show you how I pack these and how I get them into my pressure canner. So I will see you in a little bit, and thanks for watching. See you soon. Hi, welcome back. So I have my chicken all cut up here. My jars I just got out of the dishwasher. I took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out, and then I have some more in there. They're still keeping warm in case I need some more. I have my pressure canner over on the stove getting ready, and I have my tea kettle heating up with some water. I might just top off a little bit of water in there. So I'm gonna put some gloves on, some clean gloves, and I'm gonna fill these jars up with my chicken here. So that is what I'm going to do, and show you how we can some chicken. So I just cut them in about this size piece here. I'm just gonna go ahead and put them down at the bottom. Now I'm just gonna put a little bit of salt in each of them. I'm not really going to put any other seasoning in there, because I'm going to use them for different things like stir fry, tacos, maybe chicken salad, so all different kinds of things. So I'm gonna season them the way that I want to season them as I take them out and use them. So yeah, so there we go. So I'm gonna fill it just up to the bottom of the rim there, and then I'm gonna go ahead and continue with the rest of them. So yeah, this is a great way to have some shelf-stable chicken, and it actually, when you pressure can it, it cooks in there, but it doesn't overcook, and it keeps it really tender. So it's really actually good. I know people think canned chicken, but it actually works out really well. So I'm kind of excited to do this. So yeah, this Every Bit Counts challenge has actually been so great, because I've just been doing a little bit of things as I get them. And I am going to go to the lake house and go to the farmer's market again. I haven't been getting as much in my garden as I had liked. I know I mentioned that in another video. This year I've been getting, you know, a lot of zucchini, which is great, because I'm going to make some faux pineapple with that zucchini. I'm kind of excited about that. But next year I'm planning on, you know, being more organized with my garden. There was a lot of pulling dirt in and filling up those raised garden beds, trying out a tiller I had, putting down the fabric. But I think next year I'm going to work on some trellises and just being a little more organized with what I plant. I also built that herb and flower garden. So now that I have that stuff built, I think this year, or this coming year, 2023, I think I'll be able to get more things planted. So I'm not going to consider it a fail because it was a lot of work that I got done. I need to get some more jars here with my clean hand. 3 should be good. You know, like I've been telling all of you, I've been trying to find things on sale, either, you know, organic stuff at Aldi or Costco or at the local farmers market, what I can find, and I've been processing that as well. So yeah, so that's kind of what I've been doing, trying to get my pantry stocked up for the winter. And the other challenge that I'm going to do this winter is to the pantry challenge, which I'm going to try to not grocery shop for the months of January and February. And I think that from, you know, it is just me, so I think it's probably a little bit easier for me to do it than, you know, for a whole family, which is not undoable. I think that that's definitely something that can be done. But just to have all these, the pantry stocked up with the things that you either need to make meals, or to have all the meals made, like the different soups and stews and the different freezer meals that are all made, I think it not only does it make life so much easier, but I just think that it's going to make it so nice for those months where I plan on not shopping. Let me see if I can fit these little bits of chicken in these other jars here. Now I've seen a couple different ways to do it. I've seen one person top it off with just a little bit of hot water, and other people don't put any water in it at all and just use the chicken juice. And these are kind of juicy chickens, so I am kind of wondering what I'm going to do. So I took off the one glove that I used for the chicken. I'm going to keep the other one on that was clean. And I'm going to use my canning salt. I've been using that lately for my canning. And I'm going to put a ½ teaspoon of salt in each of my jars. Now, like I said before, salt is optional. You can use either as little or as much or none as you want. You don't even have to put salt in there. You can put some seasonings in there as long as they're, you know, gluten-free, where they're not going to thicken in the jar. You know, we want it to be safe for canning. So here we go. So I got my salt in there. Now I have my cloth here that's clean, and I have vinegar on it. You can use hot water if you like, but one thing we want to do is we want to wash off around the tops of the jar. We want to make sure there's no chicken on there. We want to make sure it's good for sealing. Actually, you know what? I am gonna put a little bit of hot water in there. So let me get that. I have my tea kettle here, and I'm just gonna put about a half a inch here, just of hot water in each of them. Not a lot. I don't even know if it's doing anything, but I'm just gonna put just a tiny bit in each one. And then I will wipe them off and put my lids and rings on them, and I will put them in my presto canner, in my pressure canner, and I will show you how I process them. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 jars. Now I will wipe off each of the rims here. Make sure there's no chicken grease, no little spills. Oh, the other thing I forgot, I want to make sure there's no, gotta keep my steps in order here. No air bubbles. So I just do that and then wipe it off. I will get the wiping down. So I'll just take my little plastic knife. And if you don't have this tool, you can use a plastic knife as well. And just make sure there's no little air bubbles in there, especially when adding the water in. Another thing I'm gonna try is that Cowboy Candy. I'm super excited about this. I got some great jalapenos and I am going to make this Cowboy Candy. Everybody that I've seen that tried it says it's so addicting. And I don't know if you like spicy things. You can take the seeds out if you don't want it spicy, but you make this Cowboy Candy so it's kind of sweet and spicy, and then you put it on crackers with cream cheese. Oh my goodness. And I heard it is like addicting. So I'm gonna make that too this month. Actually, probably pretty soon because I have the jalapenos to use. So yeah, so that will be coming up in a video too. Right, so I got those all wiped off. Now for the rings. I mean the lids first, then the rings. And the rings we put on finger tight as always. Not too tight, not too loose. Okay, so now that I have these rings and lids on, my rims are nice and clean, making sure there's no chicken grease on there, no salt, so we can get a nice good seal on there. These rings are finger tight. I'm gonna go ahead and put them in my pressure canner, and then we will talk about exactly how to can our raw packed chicken. Okay, let's get these in the canner. Now I got these in my Presto canner, and I am going to get my lid on here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for the steam to come out of the spout. So the steam is coming out of the spout at a regular rate. When it is doing that, I am going to wait for 10 minutes. I'll set the timer for 10 minutes. And what that's going to do is that's going to make sure that all of the air comes out of my canner. And once that happens, then I will take my weight and I will put it on this little steam, I don't even know what you call a valve. It's a valve. So I will put that on there after the 10 minutes of continual steam coming out of there. So then I will show you what we do after that. Okay? See you in a minute. Okay, so now the steam, I don't know if you can see, the steam is coming up. I'm going to time it for 10 minutes and then I'm going to put this weight on it. Once I do that, then this little button back here is going to pop up and oop, yeah, that's hot, steaming. And then once that happens, then my pressure for my area, you look at your altitude where you're at, but my altitude is 10 pounds of pressure. So then I'm going to have it rise. Yeah, so can you see the steam going up there? I don't know if you can see it. But anyway, so I'm going to bring it up to 10 pounds of pressure, and I'm going to process these for an hour, and because they're quarts, they're pints, So for the pints, I'm gonna process them for 75 minutes. So then after that, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna turn off the heat and I'm just gonna let them rest in here until that button back there drops. I'm not gonna put my hand back there till it drops. And then I'm gonna once again set my timer for 10 minutes and I'm just gonna let them rest in there for 10 minutes. I wanna make sure everything seals up really good. So I just kind of let it sit in there for a while. And then after the 10 minutes, then I take the weight off, wait another 10 minutes, and then I open it up. And then I'll take my chicken out and I will show you how it looks. So that is how I will be canning my chicken today. I will see you soon and show you how it looks.